Kamala, she does different accents.
You better thank a union member for sick leave. You better thank a union.
Depending on where she is, you know, down south. Let me tell you something. You boys better get it together here and vote. Save democracy.
And we're going to do it again in 2024.
Black community, she's like, shit, let me tell you something, honey. Let me tell you right now, we ain't vote for Trump, I even saw her at a 7-Eleven going like, listen, it's very important that we vote for the Democrats. We're trying to save democracy here. We're trying to save democracy.
All I know is that nobody voted for Kamala. They just said, okay, you're it. They did this in 2016. Bernie Sanders, he was the guy that got all the votes in the primary. Like, we just give it to Hillary. And in 2020, just everybody drop out, just give it to Biden. And then this year, it's like, everybody figured it out. His brain doesn't work. Let's just get Kamala. Here's what you have. You have somebody that nobody voted for, and you got somebody they tried to murder 2 times. I don't know which one's probably going to hold up democracy.
Rob Schneider walks onto the stage with a smile, but what follows wipes that smile clean off the faces of the woke elite. In just a few minutes, he cuts through the noise, calls out the chaos, and leaves no room for confusion. Kamala Harris, he doesn't hold back. The woke crowd, torn apart with sharp truth and raw comedy. No filters, no mercy, just straight up destruction, live and uncensored. This isn't just another rant, it's a bold moment that flips the script and shakes the room.
She talks like Christopher Walken, because Christopher Walken, you never know when he's gonna keep talking or stop. And you have Kamala has the same way, to be unburdened, depending on what accent she wants to use, to be unburdened by what has been.
Have you ever listened to Kamala speak and wonder if your internet connection is lagging? Sentences just sort of start, then wander off like a toddler chasing butterflies. Rob nailed it when he said Kamala sounds like she's trying to win a spelling bee without ever hearing the word.
And I think she's she either thinketh too much or can't think at all. And I think that's it's somewhere in between. But don't make the mistake that she's a dummy. I think she's a Marxist, and I think we have to really call it what it is.
He talks about being unburdened by what has been, whatever that means. It's like a TED Talk, hosted by a malfunctioning fortune cookie.
I mean, I do feel like this whole idea, and I'm a big Thomas Sowell fan, and the idea that we can all have the same outcomes when we don't have, in society, when we can't even have it in the same family, that seems crazy. I mean, like, and the idea that, how much of your hard work is somebody else's fair share, and that's Marxism, that's communism, and that's what we're dealing with here. We can't not say that.
And Rob, he's not buying the, she's just not good at interviews excuse. Nope. He straight up calls her a Marxist with a law degree and no track record of doing, anything productive.
It's almost lazy, Rob, to say someone's dumb or smart. It's like, really? What do you mean? No one's dumb.
Yeah.
And we went to this point. She went to law school. She's an AG, DA, whatever. But she has no, she's no economics background. She's got no history of having a business.
No.
She's got no history of actually doing anything as a senator.
I mean, it's almost like Obama.
A little bit.
Yeah.
But this is what I give Obama.
He never had a job in his whole life.
He says calling her dumb is lazy. It's not that she's dumb, it's that she believes in stuff that's dangerously dumb. There's a difference.
That is just absolute hogwash. She did not have enough coffee, or the thing is, I don't think people give Trump enough credit, because he's getting 3-4 hours sleep, and you could see she's getting about the same there, and you could see how she's just winding down, and Trump just keeps going. I mean, Trump.
Well, you just gave her credit there. I mean, that's what she talks like. Though.
Yeah, she does. She's melting down. That was really a meltdown.
That's one interview.
That was one softball question.
Now, in between roasting Kamala like it's Thanksgiving, Rob takes a stand on free speech. And it's no joke. He says we've gone from say what you want to say what's approved, and that's scary. He talks about comedy being policed, opinions being cancelled, and how America's gotten a little too comfortable telling people to shut up instead of debating them.
You know, the fact that the press is saying she doesn't have to give actual answers. She doesn't need to give answers. That's old school politics where people have to be specific. Who needs specific answers to questions? I love that. I love that.
Basically, Rob's message is this. The people who once said tolerance and diversity now just scream shut up if you disagree. So much for safe spaces, huh?
There's a
have you been on
an objective? I was on when Barbara, when it used to be a normal show, when it wasn't a Democratic, a DNC mouthpiece for Democrats.
Oh, and it wouldn't be a Schneider takedown without dragging Joe Biden into it. Rob straight up questions if the president is even awake half the time, like, who's running the show when Grandpa Joe's taking a nap? The Easter Bunny, a Roomba.
First of all, January 6th, the FBI guided tour, as it's turning into, we're still going to find out what's happening there. Why, we know that now, that Pelosi didn't allow the National Guard in. It's eventually going to come out. But again, you have a brain-addled person there who's being brought out embarrassingly, but in the most, not asked one question. They could have asked him.
And the media. Rob says they treat Biden like a rare collector's item. Don't touch it. Don't ask questions. Just admire from a distance and pretend it still works.
Who is really in charge? Who is, when you're taking a nap, who's running the government? I mean, they're not going to ask anything like that. And I think the United States of America deserves to know the answer to who's been really running this government.
So,
and that's not a rude question.
It isn't.
That's like, who's driving my car?
Right.
Who's flying the plane?
Because we're in it.
Yeah, we're in it.
Thank you.
At 37,000 feet. And, we're pushing this, the world closer to World War III. I think we should know who's the one actually making the decisions. Because it's not Kamala, and it certainly isn't, Joe, what's left of Joe Biden.
He jokes that Americans deserve to know who's flying the plane. Because at this point, it feels like we're at 37,000 feet and the cockpit is empty. Or filled with interns playing Uno.
And you could put it in teleprompter.
Even Hillary Clinton, and after that, very, tumultuous and
2016
anger-filled debate, they still showed up.
Do you want to hear Al Smith? Here's Obama Romney, right? They didn't get along. Remember, they made Romney a horrible capitalist that wants to destroy poor people and black people.
One of the sharpest points Rob makes, and he says it with that perfect mix of humor and heartbreak, is about how politics used to have a sense of humor. Remember when Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump roasted each other at that Al Smith dinner? It was brutal, but funny. They made fun of themselves, poked at each other, and America laughed along.
They've already tried to murder Trump twice already. And so, for Kamala to be so afraid to even have a joke thrown at her, to be the Babylon Bee, and God bless that, Dylan, and him saying Kamala survives another attempted interview.
But now Kamala won't even show up. The idea of joking around, laughing at yourself, being a real human, that's apparently offensive now.
Nobody voted for Kamala Harris in the primaries. Suddenly, she's the candidate. The same people who said she's joyful and that she's a wonderful, incredible candidate are the same people 2 months ago who said this is the best version of Joe Biden.
And as Rob says, when politicians stop laughing at themselves, the rest of us should start worrying.
Joe Biden's sharpest attack. And I will tell you that it is an improvement for the Democrats. Kamala Harris, she can blink. She knows how to walk off the stairs, up and down in heels. Very talented. She knows how to get off the stage, which is like Joe Biden's kryptonite.
Naturally, it wouldn't be a Rob Schneider roast without Kamala Harris getting grilled like carne asada at a backyard BBQ.
Joe Biden getting off the stage, there was always a panic for everybody. But for the people, they want to divide us.
He reminds us nobody actually voted for Kamala in the primaries. She didn't make it to Iowa. She just appeared out of nowhere like a Marvel villain in a post-credits scene. And yet here she is, a heartbeat away from the presidency. Yikes. Schneider doesn't sugarcoat it. He calls her a Marxist with a sparkle in her eye and a teleprompter in her soul. His words, brutal, but his delivery, pure comedy gold.
They want to continue to have us at our throats. And if you want to know Democrat or Republican, you have to know we need to do what's best for this country. We need to turn things over. If Kamala had great ideas, she would have put them in the last 3.5 years.
Rob lays it out plain and simple. This isn't about Republicans and Democrats anymore. It's about normal people versus the people who think your 5-year-old should be writing their own gender autobiography.
If the Democratic-controlled Senate had good ideas, they would have put them in the last 3.5 years, but they didn't.
He said it best when he joked about dropping off his daughter at school in California and picking up a son by 3 p.m. That's not a comedy bit, that's a survival story.
Anytime people get upset about and get, at each other's throats about Democrat and Republicans, I just tell them this: whenever there's a natural disaster, the real quality of Americans come out, and you see it.
He's not attacking liberalism, he's defending it. Real liberalism, the kind that actually believes in free speech, women's rights, gay rights, school choice, the good stuff. What are we seeing now? That's not liberalism, that's performative chaos in a rainbow flag. Rob didn't just make jokes, he lit a fire. No script, no fear, just the truth told loud and clear. Moments like this don't come often, and when they do, they stick. If that hits you, don't just scroll past. Hit that like button, subscribe for more real moments like this, and share it with someone who needs to hear it. This is just the start. There's more to come.